Hey Flosstube, Ashley here, Boogie Stitcher on YouTube, Schleezem_Boogie Stitcher on Instagram, coming to you guys with a regular stitching update. So we have lots to talk about. I have a giant pile next to my chair full of cross stitch to show you. My brain has been everywhere when it comes to cross stitch, so we have counted, stamped, you name it, we got it. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. So first things first, we have the Fairy Sal 2023 that we're doing. And this was a custom made kit that I had purchased. There's a better picture of it a couple videos back, but that's what we're doing. And so at first I stitched a bunch of background, all of this white and down here, which is like a bunch of like trees in the sky. But then I got really tired of background. So then I moved and I started doing her headdress, which is all right here. It's really hard to tell what I've actually done though. So let's go ahead and turn it around so you can see all of the stitching. So here's the stitching and there's the stitching of the headdress. So the headdress is only maybe a third of the way done. So it's really hard to see. But there is how that is going. There's that. I'm gonna try and put these away as I go. Otherwise it's gonna be complete madness. So this video is gonna be a tad bit longer just because we have so much to talk about and so much for me to show you. And there's just so many projects. Okay. Next up we have In This House. I'll go ahead and insert a picture of it right here. So this is a Harry Potter In This House pattern, and I have changed this pattern to be customized. So every word that I find significant or has some sort of significance to it, I have changed the coloring of the word. I've gotten a fair bit of this done since I last spoke to you guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take it out of the hoop really fast. Sorry, I should have done this before, but I've gotten a lot done since I last showed everybody. Or no. I stitched some of the back stitching to the fabric. There we go. Okay, so it's all wrinkly and crazy, but here is the progress that we've made. Let me try and fold it a little better. So in this house, we solemnly swear we are up to no good because we are members of Dumbledore's army, as brave as Gryffindor, as intelligent as Ravenclaw without the W. So here is where we're at. So Gryffindor, I did bigger stripes to start out with. Yeah, they just weren't looking very good. My husband pointed out that it just kind of looked blocky and that you couldn't really tell what it said. So I picked it all out and then I did short or small stripes and then backstitch behind it. So that way you can actually see it and doesn't make you all dizzy and sick like looking at Ravenclaw. But there is that one. It's coming along nicely. I love how it's turning out. The striping does take a real long time because I have to do it by hand. I don't have like a software to do it for me. This pattern is in Pattern Keeper, but Pattern Keeper only does the striping by 10 or 20. The diagonal lines, I mean. So I had to figure it out by hand, which wasn't too bad since it was only 2 by 2. But still a little challenging. There we go. Next up, we have a new start that I just started this weekend. Stitching friend Thread Maiden on Instagram sent me over a couple of projects, which was so sweet of her. Thank you so much, Nikki. I really appreciate it. She sent this over to me and I got this started with her, although terrible start because this weekend I didn't get very much stitching done, but I did get some. So here is the new start. This is an 11 count stamped kit. And like I said, very pitiful start, but I at least started it. So I did a couple of white stitches or cream stitches right here and a little bit of 939 right here. So again, not very much. This is a 50 by 50, I think. Yeah, 50 by 50. It's Harry Potter and I love it. And she's got the same one too, so she's gonna stitch it with me, which is really nice. All right, there is that one. There too. Next up, we have a new start from when I last saw you guys. So I'll go ahead and insert the picture of this right here. This is Coffee Quaker, and I have kitted up all of the DMC equivalents to it. I didn't buy any custom specialty threads or anything. I just did the DMC version. So here is all of the colors. Here we go. And I'm stitching this with stitching friend Abby, and she's gotten crazy far, but I'm getting there. This is stitched on 28 count even weave Lugana on a piece of fabric I already had that I coffee dyed. And so we started here, here, and then I actually changed this. So this was like a bowl with a bunch of like stuff in it, and I decided to change it into like a coffee cup. I thought since it's a Coffee Quaker, why not have a coffee cup? So there is that. Sorry, I'm trying to go a little bit faster today because we have a lot to go through. Next up, we stitched on the owls. And I didn't get too much done, but I did definitely work on it. I just worked on this, filling in this owl right here. So last time I'd show this, which was a while ago, I had only gotten to like this, like lower part of the owl, so I filled in all of this right here. So far looking pretty good. We got a little bit of this owl's eye, and then we got this owl started, and then some background up here. This is all, let me move these threads down so you can see the background. There we go. This is all stitched background right here. So for a better view, this is what we have gotten done. My backs are crazy. I have no rules when it comes to stitching. I park wherever, I travel wherever, and it works great for me. Okay, Passy. Passy. No, thank you, pups. All right, next up we have my Betta lion. I worked on this one a little bit. I really just wanted to get the eye done. So last time I had showed this, I had just gotten the betta fish done. So I kind of moved it down and just got the eye, except I have some threads that I haven't cut off of it yet. Hold on. Okay, there's still a couple threads I need to cut from the front, just by the way I stitch. So when I stitch, how I start my threads, sometimes a little bit of thread gets left on the front, and I just clip those off as I go, but I forgot to clip them off this time. So here's the full thing, and here's where I got in last time. Here's the betta fish, or a betta fish, and I just stitched the eye and part of the lion's eyebrow right here. So this one, I started full cross, and then when I picked it back up to do the eye, I switched it to 10 stitch, and you can't tell, especially from back here. But doesn't that eye look great? There's only a couple more stitches left in it, but it was filled in enough to where I was happy with it, so there we go. All right, next up we have my RTO mermaid. This is a very old pattern. This was one of the very first patterns I had purchased as a stitcher. And what's funny is that it's a German pattern. It does have English, but it's It's a German company, and they have 3-core stitch, half stitch, back stitching, blended threads, metallic, you name it, they have it. I think the only thing they don't have is beading, and on dark Aida. So it's funny because, you know, as a very beginner stitcher, this was very overwhelming for me. I'm just now starting to pick it back up though, because I feel like I've learned enough now that it's not quite as overwhelming. But when I picked it back up, I was realizing this is really hard to stitch, and I couldn't figure out why. And I think it's because 1, the dark Aida, and 2, it's a paper pattern. But with Bellatrix from Bella Filipina that I just started, I scanned in the pattern with my printer or my scanner, and then I am using the easy PDF reader to like mark on it, since I can't get it in Pattern Keeper, and that's helped significantly. So I was like, why don't I do that with this mermaid? So I did that, and it did help, but I haven't stitched on it enough to fully determine if it's still going to help, like enough to where I don't want to restart it on a different piece of fabric. I would restart this on like a lighter piece of fabric, but the problem is the tail is the fabric, and you're just putting details on that. So I would have to create all the stitching and stuff, and it's that's a little over my head. But here is where we got to so far. I did about 50 or so stitches on this, so not a ton. But again, it's really hard stitching on really dark fabric, and then yeah, not having a paper pattern was really hard too. So like I said, just recently switched this to be a PDF pattern. But here is all the threads. So with RTO, they kit everything up for you, kind of like at Rouge. They don't give you any of the DMC equivalents. So if you run out of floss, you pretty much have to try and floss match. But we got reds, blues, and greens, yellows, tans, and then we have some metallics. So it's very beautiful. I absolutely love this one. I just, like I said, I'm still a beginner stitcher. I'm learning, and I've grown a lot, but I'm still a beginner. So it's kind of hard. But I'm trying to make it easier for myself, basically. Okay, next up we have, this is, what is the name of this? Is this, I don't have, oh, Mini Little Dragon, by Sheena Pike, kid or charted by Heaven Earth Designs. I have not stitched on this in forever. When I picked this up, I only had like 20 stitches into it, and I started in the middle. So I was like, wow, I really need to work on this. And it's funny because even after picking it up, I still only have like 200 stitches on it. I don't know what it is. I'm having a really hard time stitching on Heaven Earth Designs patterns lately. They're full of confetti, and I just don't have the brain power to work on them for some reason. But I'm trying. I got a little bit of it. So we're getting there. All right, next up we have Gamer. This is an 11 count stamped kit. Let's see if I can get the picture for you. So this is Gamer. And I stitched the hedgehog, and we named the hedgehog Harry. I think I named the hedgehog Harry. This one I wanted to get the Gamer title on, and I wanted to just stitch the hedgehog. So this one is going to be complete chaos when you see all the hanging and parked floss. I'm stitching this 6 strand over 1 tent stitch on 11 count stamped kit. And so, like I said, all of the parked threads from trying to get this detail done is insane because it was confetti. So I'll try and hold all of the floss out of your way so you can see a little hedgehog. Isn't it cute? So here's from far away. Here's from close up. So we got a hedgehog and a little flower. And here's the chaos of all of my hanging threads from the title and the hedgehog. But they will eventually all get stitched in, so it's not a big deal. And then I just started working on the game. I got game. I don't have the R in yet, and then some of the background. So super fun. I love stitching my stamped kits in 10 stitch now. They go significantly faster. I'm more motivated to work on them. You'll see that as we start showing you some of my stamped kits in this giant pile. I've converted a lot of them to 10 stitch and you can't tell. It's amazing. It's amazing how fast they go, and I have a ton of them, so it works for me. All right, next up we have D&D Girl. So I was watching DM's Crafty Vortex, I think. I always have such a hard time with her channel name for some reason. Dawn Marie. She released her last whip update video, and she was working on the sister of D&D Girl. And so I decided to get her out as well. But again, I started working on her and I was like, the confetti is just insane. And I just don't have the brain power for it. I just don't have, or the patience. But I started filling in her eye. So here's where we're at. I put 129 stitches into and around her eye is all I got done. To show you the full thing of what I've done so far. If I can get my fabric even, there you go. So that's what I've gotten done. I love this pattern. I love stitching on it. I love the 22 count that I'm using, but man, the confetti of the Heaven Earth Designs patterns lately has just been killing me. So I've really had to kind of step back a little, but I'm trying to pull them back out slowly. Stay over there, sweet pea. Stay over there. All right, next up we have the Empress. This is one of my favorites, and you will see why. I'm stitching this 6 strand 10 stitch. Here is the Empress. She is amazing. I love the details of her, and I love how it's coming out. So of course, I've been stitching a crazy amount on her. The 10 stitch also helps with that. I'm taking the hoop out because I've done a lot, so I need to show you the whole thing. All right, here we go. So this is a big pattern. This is a 50 by 75, so it is very long. But here is where I've gotten to. Isn't that amazing? So here is like the background, and we got this little gem and a couple of jewels in the background, and then we have her rainbow wing and her like scepter right here is starting to appear. Oh, it just looks so good. I love this pattern, and I just cannot put it down. So I finished all this to the center, and then now I'm gonna be working down towards her face. So I'm super excited about this one. Looks so good. But there we go. And this is stitched on 10, this is 10 stitch. It's not full cross or half stitch, if that's what you wanna call it. Let me show you the back really fast because it is insane. Look at that. Messy craziness, but it's great. I love it. I think I'm so motivated to work on this one, not only because I love the pattern, but the detail, how the details are showing up and how quickly it's stitching. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. And I have it in my little fleece bag. Got cotton on the outside, fleece on the inside. I love this little bag. Okay, next up I started Winter, which I just unboxed. And I just had to do her face. I wanted to see what her face would look like as a stamped kit. And it's not too bad. There she is. I think she is a little bit darker for my, like, peachish. For my taste. I feel like a fair skin would have been nice, but yeah, we got the back stitching in, we got all of her chest right here, and some of her hair. Yeah, she looks pretty good. And we can look at the back. This is a 14 count stamped kit by Joy Sunday. I'm still super surprised that this didn't come with any beading, but we'll see how it goes. And if I deem it necessary to put beading in, then I will reach out to Emma because she's got the counted kit, and then we'll work together to get some beads in. But for now, I just got to get it stitched first. All right, next up we have Ravenclaw. Not a ton done on this one. I've just been kind of working on background, and I'm getting tired of working on brickwork. I'm in a yucky spot right now, but here we are. So all of this is completely done all the way through here, and now I'm working on filling in this detail, which is like a banner, some flowers on top of it, like a little banner. The whole thing is right there. And sorry for the background noise. Baby has found his hands, and so he is happily sucking and chewing and gnawing on his hands. Aren't you? So you get a lot of slurping and weird sounds right now. Yeah. Okay, next up. Next up is a new star. I'll go ahead and insert the picture of it right here. So this is a pattern. We took one of the pictures from Jasmine McGriffith. Wait, Jasmine. I can't, Griffith of something. I can't remember the first part of her last name. Anyway, she released a bunch of her pictures onto the Creative Commons, so they are free to download and do with whatever you will. I went ahead and downloaded one and sent it over to Stitching Friend, and she wanted to see what it looked like in Pictopat. That's like my pattern creator that I use just for myself. But the mock-up was significantly darker than what the mock-up of Pictopat was. So I said, why don't I just stitch the face and see what it looks like? So we're comparing that to the actual pattern itself. So here is where I got started. This is just her forehead, and I'm stitching this 28 count 2/110. Again, not as much confetti as Heaven Earth Designs because this was a custom created. I created this myself, so less confetti, a little bit more bulk, but we wanted to see what it would look like how dark it would be. So actually this isn't 28 count, this is 22 count, I'm sorry. 3, oh my gosh, this is 22 count 3/110. Sorry, wrong project. There we go. Okay, there's that one. Next up, we have my knight or warrior, whatever you want to call her. I snuck her. I've been wanting to work on her for a little bit, and then I had Emma pick some patterns for me, and she picked this out. But once I started stitching on it, I just couldn't, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. So the picture of her, here she is. Very beautiful, and she's stitching up very nicely. For some reason, I just couldn't get into it. So I already had all the background up here done in her face. I started working on her like armor down here. So that's all I got done is this. Maybe 100 stitches, maybe. But she's looking so good. I don't know, I just wasn't feeling her, I guess. It's been like that a lot this week, or since the last video. I'll get something out to work on it, and then I'm just not feeling it. And then I put it away, and I'm like, I just can't. But at least I touched it, so it got some love. Because I pulled her out for like 3 weeks, like 3 weekends in a row I pulled her out, and then finally this weekend I put some stitches into her.
Mom,
Here you go, honey.
What? We have this many eggs.
Oh my gosh, there's so many eggs. All right, stay over there. Almost done. All right, next up we have no, not Sleeping Beauty. This is Beauty and the Beast. This beautiful one. What are you doing? You dancing? He's dancing in the background. This one, I got a fair bit done on this one, which is so awesome. I'm loving it. Shh, 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 shh. All right, lots of hanging threads because I'm still working on her, but we got all of this background done right here. Started to work towards her hair, and I was like, you know what? I need to see her face. So then I did her face, and then I didn't want to do her hair. I skipped that and started working on her body and her dress. So that's where we're at. This is all filled in minus I think one symbol. There's like one symbol left in here. But I couldn't fill out the dress without filling out the shoulders and the chest because it wouldn't mean anything. Like it wouldn't look very good. So I had to kind of work all of it down. So yeah, it's looking really good. This one I started as full cross and I am keeping as full cross. So I don't know. I'll show you one of my other patterns. But for some reason, tent stitch is a little bit duller stitches than full cross. Full cross stitching is like shinier stitches. So if any of you know why that is, please let me know. I'm very curious because I can't figure it out. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute when I get to a different pattern. Okay. Actually, let's just talk about that pattern right now. So here is Sleeping Beauty. This one I'm stitching with Shelly. And I will put her channel name up here for you guys so you can go check her out because she's stitching the blue side. I'm stitching the pink side over here. Yeah, it's been a blast, like sending her updates and getting her updates and everything. So I have done all this black work up here, done to the background right here, and then I had to scoot over here because I was getting tired of doing background. But now I'm working right here. I've got all this done right here and just working her hair probably until I get to there, and then I'm gonna get bored again and then I'll bring this down. But let me see if I can find what I was talking about. So I originally started this pattern in full cross just for my stitch with me. And then I decided I'm gonna switch this over to 10 stitch, which I'm glad I switched it over to 10 stitch because I just like that better. So I tend to pick it up more. But let me see if I can find it. Right here is a small square of full cross stitches. And they're significant. This is the same color as this right here, but they're significantly shinier. And I don't know why. So this looks a little bit duller than like this spot right here. This is full cross and this is 10 stitch. And I just don't know why. So that bugs me a little bit. I don't think you can tell from all the way back here. You know, I've gotten a fair bit done. But when close up, it's definitely shinier. And like I said, it's so weird. And I don't know why that is. All right, so we'll have 2 more patterns left. This next one is Bellatrix. I'm stitching this with a couple of stitching friends, which is super fun, and I am also stitching this for the Fancy Lady February, I believe. I'll put the hashtag up here for you guys. Dawn Marie and her stitching friend are hosting it. DM's Crafty Vortex on YouTube. And yeah, it's a lot of fun stitching with other people. So I am stitching this 28 count 2/1 full cross, and I'm doing the skin 1/1 full cross. So this is on a piece of hand dyed fabric by myself that I dyed myself. I started down here in the center of the pattern, worked a little bit of her knee, worked down here and here, and then I decided I needed to work up to her face. So this is her neck, her dress line, and I think this is like her sleeve. But there we go. I don't have any of the beads for this. I have all of the called for threads. I think I'm missing 1 color of DMC, that's it. But this is a lot of fun. I've really been liking stitching over 2. It's been a nice change from full coverage. Yeah, I absolutely love this. So I just purchased another pretty lady. I'll go ahead and insert a picture of her right here. And I'm super excited to start her. I got a piece of 28 count Lugana, my coffee dyed that I'm stitching the Quaker on. I cut a piece off of that because it's huge. And I'm going to attempt to dye it again. So I coffee dyed it first. And I'm going to attempt to dye it with an indigo, teal, fuchsia pink, and purple, a dark like violet purple, and I'm going to attempt to stitch all of those together into like a midnight sky type thing. I prefer to try and dye my fabric myself because I can get fabric that I enjoy stitching on at my local craft stores versus buying something online that someone else has dyed for me that might have a better dye job than myself, but I maybe don't like the fabric, which would just be a shame. So I know what I like, and so I'd rather just get the dye and just try and dye everything myself. And so far everything has worked out. I haven't tried dyeing the fabric for her yet, so I'll show you guys on the channel as soon as I get that done. Yeah, and hopefully it turns out good. I don't know. We'll see. Where did I put this envelope? There she is. Bless you. Couldn't find the bag for her. Okay. Last up. Sorry, I told you guys this was gonna be a long video. Last up is Pokemon. This is what we call it. It's Pokemon, but we call Pokemon. My son had a hard time saying it for a while, so that's just a family thing. Anyway, I am almost completely done with Squirtle. I have completed Squirtle's body. Oops, spit up. I just have a tiny strip left of the background of Squirtle, and Squirtle's done. So I had to get some more skin color for Squirtle because I had ran out. But he's done, and doesn't he look great? All down there, we got some bubbles up here, and this strip right here is all that I have left of Squirtle. So I'll probably finish that sometime this week, and then my kids want me to work up to Charmander up here, which I've already started on his tail, and here's like his face and body and stuff. So, and then of course there's poor lone Bulbasaur. All my hanging threads from stitching Squirtle. There's Bulbasaur. All right, that is it. Plans for this next week. My new pattern has already shipped from 123 Stitch. They were out of all of the Krennic, which kind of stinks. So I'll have to try and go to my local stitching embroidery shop and see if I can find some. I know that they have like Karen Lily and Krennic and some colors, but I don't know what colors they have because I've never actually gone there to try and look for specialty threads. But I'm gonna check them out and see what I can find. And I'll be dyeing the fabric for that, or attempting to. Luckily I have a couple pieces to like try on. And then yeah, just stitching on everything, I guess. So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you. I hope you stay safe, stay warm, and take care. Bye.